Ninja Gaiden 3 is a difficult game in many aspects. Ruthless enemies, everything to keep you check on, and the pressure of always dying as quickly as possible. In this video I'm gonna show you all how to improve your gameplay in many ways, and even giving you some tips and tricks to how to deal with some certain types of enemies and learning new things here and there. So, without talking too much, let's just jump right into this. Ninja Gaiden 3 has new mechanics that in the previous Ninja Gaiden games weren't there before. You got, first of all, a new mechanic which is called the Steel and Bone mechanic, which helps you out dealing with a group of enemies. The Steel and Bone attack, in many cases, is mostly always a grab attack. That grab attack can be dodged and can be countered with a heavy attack. Some enemies have like longer Steel and Bone attacks, others have shorter Steel and Bone attacks. What that means is these enemies are pretty much preparing a dangerous attack that may cause a lot of damage to you, or in worst case you may actually die because of it. So how do you know a Steel and Bone attack is coming? What the developers did is they put a red aura on that attack, which means when you always see an enemy glowing up and doing like a red aura charge attack, you know the Steel and Bone attack is coming. Some enemies will do it constantly, pretty much. Others will do it rarely, occasionally. Some enemies can be provoked into doing it, and I will show you how to bring out these Steel and Bone attacks consistently. The first provoke to bring out a Steel and Bone attack, which is the technique or tip that many people know, is the meditation technique. What the meditation technique is an ability that you can unlock in game, which causes Ryu to meditate and exchange his ki to HP. When you are in that meditation state, enemies will try to interrupt you. Either they will, just do normal attacks, or they will actually do a Steel and Bone attack, which is the most efficient way to pretty much bring out a Steel and Bone attack. The second one is pretty much when you are charging your ultimate technique. When you are charging it, you have, before you get to the first level of your ultimate technique, you can let go and do a normal attack. In many cases, you can pretty much use this as your tool to bring more Steel and Bone techniques out and cause massive damage. The third strategy would be the D-limb strategy. When an enemy is dismembered, they may be in a crawling position or walk slowly, or they will be running at you with one of their limbs missing. The soldiers or ninjas and some of the fiends will try to do a final attack, which is their suicide attack. That is a grab, and when they get a hold of you, it will do massive damage towards your health, or you will actually die because of the attack. Some of them are Steel and Bone attacks, which can be used to your advantage to bring out more of these Steel and Bone attacks out. Just a reminder that when you dismember an enemy that has a Steel and Bone attack built into its suicide attack, make sure that you have a bit of a distance between yourself and your opponent so you don't get caught by their last attack. If you are unsure of dodging the SOB attack of your opponent, you can use the Cicada Surge ability, which is a teleport that consumes ki to be used to dodge out of the way if you feel unsure about it. This ability can be unlocked in your menus, and I recommend it especially against the higher difficulties to always use it to your advantage. Ninja Gaiden 3 gives you 6 weapons to deal against your enemies. First of all, you got your all-rounder Dragon Sword, you got your Kusarigama, the Lunar Staff, the dual katanas, the Scythe, the Falcons Talons. All these weapons work differently from each other, and all of them have their advantages and disadvantages. The Dragon Sword will be your weapon of choice when you start playing Ninja Gaiden for the first time. What the Dragon Sword does is a good damage output. The SOB attack is fast and has a good distance to reach to the next enemy to link your SOB attacks, and will be the best choice for you when you play on lower difficulties. When you play on higher difficulties, you may see that the Dragon Sword is not quickly at dismembering the opponent quickly, and it may take more time to get rid of the enemies, due to the enemies being buffed with more HP and more durability to not get dismembered quickly like at the lower difficulties. If you want to use the Dragon Sword for higher difficulties, I still would recommend using it, but use it more for enemies like the ninjas and the soldiers and the alchemists without rapier. Since against the alchemist you can use your flying swallow technique when they have their armor charged, and you launch them with the air and end it with a Izuna drop. The SOB link of the Dragon Sword is really fast, but you have to look out for its range, since it happens that you may miss your SOB links here and there. The recommended combos or strings for this weapon will be shown on screen, with the text of the string and with its button prompts on which platform you play on. The Kusarigama covers a lot of ground with its moves that have a lot of range built into them. What the weapon excels at, it is at its range and its SOB attacks, since it's the only weapon that pulls opponents to you when you link your SOB attacks. It also comes with a grab attack that when landed against a human-sized enemy, it will cause an instant dismemberment, either arm or leg, and if they are already dismembered, this will be an instant kill. The downside of this weapon is it has the slowest dismemberment rate out of all the weapons, which may give you the feeling that it takes forever to kill an enemy. Even with a grapple hook that can instantly dismember human-sized foes, that you may either have to damage the enemy for the hook to connect, or sometimes it may not hook the opponents at all. You will notice the longer killing with weaker enemies, but against stronger enemies with this weapon it may take a long time to kill one of them. I would recommend using this weapon against the Claw Fiends and against the alchemists with the rapiers, since its hook can neutralize those enemies as quickly as possible. The Lunar Staff is a very fast weapon which also has a very high dismemberment rate. You can use this weapon pretty much against any enemy, bosses not included, since it has one of the best UTs due to you getting a free obliteration technique after you kill an enemy foe with your UT. The staff is really good at crowd control, since the weapon helps you out dealing with more of a big number of a group. But the downside of the weapon is its SOB attack, since it is the only weapon that cannot link to another foe like the other weapons do. The dual katana is probably one of the hardest weapons to learn, since its weapon is not a weapon you can easily get the hang of it like the dragon sword, but rewards players who master this weapon. What the dual swords excel at is its UT, since it has the best UT in the game, and its SOB attacks covers more ground than the dragon sword, so you won't miss, like I said before in the dragon sword part. I use this weapon more against foes like the chimeras, since the brute can initiate its SOB attack when it breaks out of your string, and the snake's ones will do it when you slash into them. The Scythe is your heavy hitting unit in this game. It covers a lot of ground, which is massive size, and has the highest damage output out of all the weapons in the game. The good thing is it can deal with stronger foes quickly than other weapons do, and has the second best SOB attack and UT as well. The SOB attack of the Scythe has a second swing built into its SOB attack, and if the first swing misses, but the second one connects, you'll still get to chain your SOB attacks. The UT also covers a lot of ground and can kill multiple enemies with its UT like the dual swords do. Your only downside with this weapon would be its slow swing in attacks, which can cause you to being hit out of your combos. The Falcons Talons is your highest dismemberment rate weapon, and at the same time your fastest weapon you have in your arsenal. It can help you out to dismember the strong enemies quicker than the other weapons could. What also the weapon has is a built-in dodge you can perform while you are in a combo. It has a good UT and a good SOB attack. The UT will kill the opponents or dismember them, and its SOB attack is good, but it has a big problem which causes you some issues. The Falcons Talons have the shortest range out of all the weapons that can cause you to whiff your attacks, SOBs, or your UTs. When you use the talents, you gotta stick to your opponent close, which is not always a good option since you can get overwhelmed by your opponents when you fight a group. Now I'm gonna show you the best combos or the best strings for these weapons to use with their button prompts, depending on which platform you are playing on.